How's it going, everybody?
Hey, I thought you were bringing in an Okie. He's not an Okie.
No, I'm trying. I'm
Derek's
trying.
the closest thing to an Okie.
I don't know if you saw Chris's video. He lives like he's an Okie. I've seen his yard.
That's just part of it. You should see the other. That's just the 1 acre.
Right.
Derek's in my yard.
Yep. Everything you could ever imagine's out there somewhere.
I saw your yard. I didn't see you.
No?
Oh, I left my. What did I leave? I left my razor there or something.
Oh yeah, you did. I did. Yep. Straight redneck garden. You're right. What's funny is how my wife or my kids sometimes are all embarrassed of it, and then I get people come over and they just start going through stuff, and they're like, "Oh, can I have that? Can I have that?"
Yeah.
The educated PhD of South Carolina is here.
How you been, Robert? I ain't talked to you in a minute.
Good.
I'm trying to get a coyote chaser. You know, I think it's Dustin Cooper. Is that what it is? On TikTok, and he pulls those cords, and god dang.
Yeah.
No luck
I always wanted to get a racetrack horse and a couple greyhounds, and just because out where I grew up, it's all farm fields. I always wanted to go out and just run them coyotes. So
I tried that. It didn't work. Works all right till they get in any rush.
it's like anything.
Yeah.
It's like anything. It's hard, you know. We make fun of snow hunters, but ain't no easier than dirt hunting, you know. Easier to find a track, but not easier to get around. So,
Yeah.
Richard Fight. I heard it was 90 degrees in Phoenix today.
It hit 80 on my way home today. It was 85 here.
I know. I gotta head down there tomorrow. Camo in the Capitol.
That tomorrow?
Whoa, look at that. Kentucky officially named their state dog a Walker Coonhound. Goes through the House next week.
That tracks. I like it.
Do you have any luck getting anyone from West Virginia or Virginia on?
No. I texted George today, and then Wayne Dixon. Nobody's around.
Yeah.
He did send me. Damn, we got our own damn problems, but
Right.
HB 1396 has made it through the Ag Subcommittee with a 2-1 vote, but heavily amended. Supposedly now it's basically a $19 permit that has been turned over to the Finance Committee for funding. It could die there before it goes to the floor, where we will still have no more chance to kill, or one more chance to kill. SB 770 and SB 440 are both dead or tabled until 2027, which means they strikered it or vehicled it, whatever you want to call it.
So they just they're facing pretty much a goofy hound permit though now, right?
Yeah, they just. I would imagine there's a lot of people here in Arizona that want to do. They want to limit the out-of-staters because all the out-of-staters are limiting the out-of-staters, right?
Right.
Yeah. Just a slippery slope, I think.
Yeah.
Here's what. Listen, the last 2 weeks I've been on the phone probably 3-4 hours a day with representatives and state officials. Why they call me back is kind of weird. You know, Diaz is the one putting up. So we have the 2158. That's the bad one. That's the one that they want to classify lion and bear as predatory animals. Now, does it mean anything? Does it mean Game and Fish has to treat them like a coyote? Probably not, because Game and Fish still has control of it. The problem is Utah. right? They delist as a big game. The mountain lion is a big game. It's all cool and fine and dandy for the ranchers, and that's who's pushing this bill are the ranchers. You got a couple what do they call them,
Constituents.
that are buddies with somebody, and the HB 2158 in Arizona. I have to talk politics. We haven't talked politics, and this shit right here is kind of dangerous. So let's take the HB 2158. You classify lions and bears as predatory animals. Let's just say they say, okay, you can shoot them like coyotes. If that happens, it's not the problem of shooting too many or whatever. It's the problem of money making, right? We'll call them the ecosystem terrorists. Will raise money on that, and then it's too late to push an initiative right now, right? Like to get signature, it costs them big bucks. They'd have to bring in a lot of people. I mean, so we'll see an initiative in 27, 28. So they'll start doing the signatures. They'll raise their money right now. If this goes through, look, they're going to kill everything, slaughter, maim, rape, pillage, and plunder. They're going to put the fear into who? I don't care about the hunters, and I don't care about the anti-hunters. That's not who you want. That's not who you want to talk to. You're not going to change a hunter's mind. You're not going to change an anti-hunter's mind. You're going to change that middle-class mind. You're going to change the people in Anthem, people in Glendale, the people in Santan Valley, Apache Junction. Those are the people who count. There's, what is there, 4% hunters? What is it? I think it's only 4% of America hunts.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Well, what is that going to do? Who cares if they vote anyways? We can make a show, right? But if we don't get that little pond in the middle, where if you don't convince the non-hunters that the anti-hunters are full of shit, you're going to lose a vote. But the problem is the scales are tipped like this. Like, here's us who makes $30,000 a year. This is all anecdote of the houndsman brought in, but had to spend $27,000 to get it, right? And then you got these guys who just they lie. The terrorists lie. That's all they do. And that's all they are, terrorists. They claim conservation, right? They claim management. That podcast I just sent you, that's a good podcast. And Robbie from Blood Origins was on that. And he had kind of 2 points of view. And we argue all the time about saying the words and changing the words. We changed the word the harvest. This handful gets pissed off about it and says, you don't have no balls. This handful says, well, you gotta follow the trend. You're both kind of right, because no one wants to hear kill, because who uses the word kill? The terrorists use the word kill, right? Any terrorist in the world, even the animal activist terrorists, they use the word kill because it's a strong word. Kill, slaughter, whack, you know what I mean? And if you listen to that podcast with those guys, it's pretty good. They make solid points on both sides. But if we don't do nothing about it, and like this bill 2158, they'll use it to raise money, and then they'll come back and they'll use that money to get an initiative. And if we're out there shooting lions and bears, just having a blast, right? People don't like that. They're going to exploit the shit out of that. So that's why it's no good. And for the ranchers, my cousin's a rancher. I mean, and I talked to Representative Diaz, and he said, what about the ranchers? And I said, we already have, he made it. He figured it out.
I figured it out. It took a minute.
But we're just talking politics. I haven't heard Oklahoma got anything going on.
Yeah, they're trying to pass a deal against hounds guys that if you get over on somebody that you're not supposed to, that they're trying to make it a big deal, but I don't know if it'll ever pass or not.
Are you talking about private property?
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have permission on it, they're gonna try to pass a deal where you can't hunt that land. So
Well, man, there's so many pros and cons to that private property. I mean, you guys are full of private property, though. Oklahoma is just private property.
it's section. We're all sectioned up. I mean, quarter by quarter here. So
So a lot of that, you hear these people talking about it, but Arizona's what we got a lot of public land. Arizona, New Mexico has some. New Mexico's pretty even, huh, Benny? You got a lot of private, and you got a lot of you don't have a whole lot of public. You got the Gila.
No, there's a lot of public still.
Is there?
But some of the private stuff, there's big chunks of private. But in New Mexico, they can landlock stuff. So that makes it difficult too.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that worries me is that we all feel pretty safe with all of our public. But if we start locking out non-residents, then it's only going to take one guy in a different state to file a federal lawsuit, and then we can't hunt on Forest Service no more or national forest. Like, that's federal land, not state land.
Yeah,
so if we lock them out, they file a federal suit, then they take hunting off federal lands. We could end up looking like New Jersey.
I think that'd be pretty hard to do in these states. Not impossible. It'd be.
It don't have nothing to do with the state. Don't have a choice. It's not a state.
It'd be hard for the federal to shut it down. Is what I'm saying.
Maybe hard to enforce it, but
I mean, you're talking about
for them to say no hunting.
No, it's not that easy. You got game and fish for one. You're talking about
they have no power.
They got a lot of power.
Not over the Forest Service.
They absolutely do. Trust me. Listen.
Trust
I was that guy that said the game and fish have no balls and they're not doing nothing. It's an absolute disgusting war zone that you wouldn't even imagine the shit that's going on. But crazy.
If the federal government says you can't hunt a piece of property, the state game and fish can't do anything about it.
They absolutely can do something about it.
What can they do about it?
I'm telling you, they work. You don't just shut down a forest.
No, they can shut down the hunting on it, though. They do it. There's other ones that you can't hunt on. You can't hunt on all national forest.
Where at?
There's jingles of it. In Oregon, you can't hunt a bunch of federal land that the logging companies got leases on. So they lock out the public hunting of it, for one example. There's federal lands you can't hunt on in Texas. There's federal lands you can't hunt on in Kentucky. There's federal lands in Indiana you cannot hunt on.
If it was that easy, they would have already come in.
Well,
I'm just telling you, there's no saying I mean, you're just the game and fish. There's nobody running the forest. Game and fish are only people out there in the forest.
Like I say, it's not about enforcement, but if they pass a rule that says it's illegal to hunt on national forest, nobody's going to do it because nobody's going to outlaw.
I don't think that would ever happen, honestly.
It's happened other places, though. That's what I'm saying. Covering our eyes and being like, it'll never happen to me. That's how Oregon lost their hunting. That's how Washington lost their hunting. That's how California lost their hunting. Like, it's not far away. They're trying to take it from us right in our faces.
They lose their hunting because people don't do nothing.
Well, we're not doing nothing either. Like, talking to a bunch of hunters ain't going to get us anywhere, just like you just said. We're not doing the things to reach out to the general public.
Well, I think the general public, no matter what goes on there, a bunch of them's gonna be against it anyways, because there's too many of them tree huggers out there that they're gonna try to push their way until somebody hits them in the nose and says, "Hey, y'all need to back up and respect what goes on."
Even when you do that, they're gonna keep coming.
They only look at Colorado.
I mean, look, we punched them in the nose on 127, and they're coming right back and forth.
Yeah.
But how many commissioners you got there in your state?
Colorado?
Yeah.
Well,
8 right
There's
now.
11 of them. 7 of them are vegan, and then the
Exactly.
lady that they just appointed doesn't even have no biology degree or nothing, and
No.
she's head over our commission.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is if we start dividing each other, and look at the bear, look at the wolf. That's a federal thing. The states are screaming about it for 10 years, and the federal still says no, and they can't do nothing. Like when the federal government passes a law on federal lands or over the federal decree of some kind, the state has no power over the federal government. So if we start dividing each other, these guys, look, we got multiple 4 states here. And if we start screwing over each other, then we're not going to have these come together sessions. Then it's just, 1 or 2 of us yelling instead of people all over the country yelling.
Yeah.
A quiet voice is easy to muffle.
Well, I mean, getting people to do anything, trust me, is pretty impossible.
Hell, it's about like here, they got a guy that's trying to push some of that deal, and he's just one leg, and he's like, oh, I got y'all's back. But when he gets somewhere, unless you're standing there looking at him in the eye, does he really got your back, or is he just saying that to your face to make you see that he's got your back? So,
Well, the problem also is, and if you really want to stop a lot of this nonsense, you make it where you don't get reimbursed for suing the federal government. How many of you guys sued the federal government? You can, and then you get reimbursed for it.
That's what the antis do to get their way all the time.
That's exactly what they do. Sanctuary city. So can you be a sanctuary forest? Hide all the hunters?
I don't know what you're trying to say there, but what sanctuary city? What do you mean? There's lots of those.
I think he's being
But
funny.
that's state making rule and federal overriding it. They can do that, but we can't do it the other way.
There's the U.S. Department of Fish and Game. Yeah, but how many of those guys have you ever seen?
It doesn't matter. When they pass a law, that's the end of the conversation. The state can't override their rules, period. Never happened.
The state actually can override their rules if they claim, the 10th Amendment, sovereign?
Yeah, and how's that ever worked for anybody? Last time it was tried seriously, we had a war about it and we lost.
When?
In 1861.
Way back when.
Nobody does it. You're not going to convince your state to declare sovereignty over your hunting rights. It's not going to happen. That's absurd.
It won't be over hunting rights. It'll be over a whole bunch of other mess.
Bunch of stuff. Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like we're talking about that we can lose our hunting real easy. There's an avenue for it. We can't divide
We can lose
ourselves.
our Constitution real easy too. The federal government wanted to.
You can't lose your Constitution with a lawsuit filed by a guy you pissed off in a different state, though. And we could lose our hunting. You're telling
me that just a guy in another state can sue the government because someone wouldn't let him on a.
They can file a lawsuit. So say Arizona says no out-of-state houndsman, and say Robert gets pissed off and he goes to Colorado houndsman. I don't forget what the name of your organization is up there, but say he goes to those guys and they're like, yeah, screw those sons of bitches. Yeah, well, you know what? Then they're not going to be able to hunt on those national forests. We're going to file a lawsuit. Lawsuit goes through. They find that it does have grounds because it is federal public property and only one state's benefiting from it. That kind of makes sense. Axe it. Now you can't hunt on federal lands in Arizona anymore. That's how it would happen. That's what I'm saying. We can't divide ourselves. We start alienating each other, and it's a path to ruin, man. If we're not all in it together, just like you said, there aren't enough of us to stand up and do anything by ourselves. It takes everybody working the right direction. Yep, there you go, Idaho bear hounds. Yeah, there's just no way. The state can't override a federal deal.
I think they could.
How? Can you tell me a single example? because we've sit here, me and him both have listed different things where
I
it's
just think
been tried and they failed.
I think you cause a big enough problem.
Who's going to cause the big enough problem? I mean,
the state.
Why? Why does the state give a shit if you can hunt on Tawno National Forest?
Because they make
Because
money
it
off.
affects the state's income.
They make
Okay,
big
so
money.
what are they going to? What legal avenue do they have to protest that?
Well, who's
Is
going to
it-
if you can't hunt? If you can't hunt on, who's going to manage the wildlife on that? You think
The
they're going to
state
send
trappers.
U.S. wildlife in?
Yeah, they do it all over the country. There's federal hunters all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that on a big turf like that. That's just my opinion. I
Or
think
they'd
it has
let
to
it go
be
to shit.
something real serious for the government.
So it's worth the gamble to
But-
be selfish, to keep 6 out of
You keep
staters.
saying be selfish. What are you talking about being selfish?
What's Derek
It's
getting
entire-
at is we all need sportsmen all need to stand united no matter what.
Yes,
That's
can't
all.
divide
That's all
each other.
he's saying.
It's not worth it to divide each other.
No.
Like, why would we take the
It's-
chance?
It's not worth the state saying out of staters shouldn't be able to come here to a
No.
sportsman.
I don't think no one's ever said that. I think they've just changed the pricing or had permits,
Right.
but they've had reason to do so. Even the guys
Yeah.
that are pushing for it feel there's a reason.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody feels they have a reason. The antis feel they have a reason to end all hunting. Just because somebody has a reason, don't make it the right choice or the best
That's
But
choice.
look at the comments about drugs, and I was thinking about the drugs too. All these drugs are illegal federally, and the states are doing what they want. I mean, for crying out loud, look at Oregon.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
New Mexico's got,
Oregon, Washington, Colorado.
yeah,
Because-
Colorado started it.
How many votes do they lose if the Democratic Party doesn't protect all those sanctuary bullshits? Shingles of votes. They don't lose
Yeah, that's
crap
how
if they say we go screw ourselves. There's a lot
So-
more druggies than there is hunters. We don't have that kind of voting power, guys. It's not worth the gamble. We need to just all stay together and work
Well,
toward the same goal.
it's not about,
And
it's not the votes, Derek. It's not about the voting power. It's not the druggies outvoted the hunters or any of that. It's about the money generated. It's about finances, because the states do this stuff on the drugs so that they can get more taxes. And that's why the whole fight with the hunting, the game department is a state funded entity that has to have tax revenue. So the more they cut off hunting, and that's what Chris and I have talked about on the phone about this stuff in Arizona, you get rid of all of these tags, and that's going to cripple everything. It's just like giving up all of the tags for the veterans. Everybody says, yeah, veterans should be able to hunt for free. But realistically, every one of us should be able to hunt for free. Until they started implementing all of these different positions and all these different parts inside the government, there was no reason to tax us. So they started, well, hell, we're going to have this guy to go out there and make sure that the rabbit's not getting killed wrong. How are we going to pay for that? We're going to pay for the guy that's out there shooting the rabbit, and he can pay for the watchdog. And so that's it's such a huge deal that finances drive everything, no matter what.
Well, you have to have money. The Game and Fish has to have money.
Yeah.
yeah, the system's fucked, but we have to play within the system. And if we make ourselves a smaller group, is all I'm saying. It's like Robert said, like we got to stand together. We start dividing each other. That's just how you lose.
Shit,
I don't think it's worth the
I
gamble.
haven't seen a lot of people put effort to make a bigger group.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
you know, when Colorado was the only place under attack, everybody came together.
Mhm.
So now the antis are attacking everybody on
Every
every front,
state.
from every state, all at the same time, and they know that they can outspend everybody else, and you can't win all of those battles. And so, how do you decide where to go?
Well, the other problem is who's going to carry the bat? Is it going to be SCI? Is it going to be Sportsman's Alliance? Is it going to be Who else is a big one out there? You know, is it going to be Colorado? Like, who's your Jesus was huge, one person with all that money, so they could bounce around. They had $2 million set aside just for lawyer fees.
But they fundraise different than we do. Like we can't compete with them the way we're all doing it, you know, and that's a tough thing. It's because we all work for a living. So who's got time to do all that? It's a tough deal. But what we shouldn't do is estrange each other. Like none of us got a Jesus bank account, but we gotta pull the same direction. You know, that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Well,
Easier
I
said
can
than
donate
done.
hot dogs. I can donate some hot dogs. So, you know,
I made tamales. I'm giving them out to senators tomorrow. And I can't find one person to go over there and sit with me.
yeah, Casey's not about to. He'd rat you out. Where is Casey?
I sent him a link. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing. Give them all that 12-year-old bear meat.
It's from 24. I use the good stuff.
No,
It's not even the good stuff in my opinion, but
Yeah, it's not aged like fine.
not
not
aged enough. That's like on his one video. Did you see in his toolbox? There's a jar of meat that looks like it's been there for 12 years.
it's been there for 12 years. It's aging. It's aging still. Hey, as long as we
Chris,
pop them cans open and it goes, psst, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
yeah, Chris is he's upgraded from the rest of us carrying Vienna sausages for 28 years to now he's just got his own version.
I've seen some of them spams from 2005 under people's seats. That's probably true.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I'd say our whole government. You ain't got to just do that one.
Yeah.
So in the face of all this stuff that's going on, who's willing to quit going about their daily lives and quit pushing everything to go hunting and all of that?
No, I was supposed to go out. I was supposed to go out yesterday, but I had to wait on a phone call because they were pushing that bill last night. So Friday. I was in meetings Friday.
I've got pups coming from 2 different places, and also life is. We just got to keep pushing, but we can't lose focus, and it's hard to do it all at the same time.
No, it is, and there's more behind the scenes than anybody thinks.
Oh yeah,
a lot more.
You know,
it's like
there's a guy from southern Utah that's going to come over to my house, and we're going to get together in one car. We're going to go get some pups from another guy, and we'll talk more in my living room and in that road trip than we'll ever talk over the phone. And that's some of that behind the scenes stuff and interconnecting everybody. You know, it's kind of the web that we need, but it's not always right here in this forum.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that take place that I'm not aware of, that Robert doesn't know about, that Derek doesn't know about, Dustin, Chris. I mean, there's things between each other that everybody else doesn't know about. So don't just think that everybody's giving up the fight. It's just there's a certain amount of it that takes place in a quieter setting. And I know that you can't stay that way all the time and get anywhere, but you got to have a lot of groundwork.
How much crap would I get if I said I'm going to push a bill that is like falconry for hounds? You have to mentor 2 years.
Yeah, never go.
No, everybody throw a fit about it.
Yeah, everybody fight
it. Sure would weed out all them people, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to push a bill where you have to use telemetry for the first 5 years.
You can't touch GPS until you learn how to beat
GPS on dogs for the first 5 years. See what happens.
to your master houndsman. You gotta do it like the Falcons. Get big, nice master apprentice generals on there. You know.
You know, there's also been groundwork, and I think I've mentioned this before, there's been groundwork that's been going on for 30, 40, 50 years that's against all of us. But it's against more than just us too. You know, the Wildlands Project, I think it's Agenda 21, maybe it's something different than that now. And it's these wildlife corridors. And at some point, if you read all of the fine print and all of that stuff, they're not even allowed to fly airplanes over sections of these wildlife corridors. And we're talking about 35,000 feet above the ground. And all of that's being pushed. So it's a bigger deal. And we're just, you know, me, I'm old. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. I'm going to do it quietly. And that's just the way I'm going to roll.
Yeah. Well, it's like this. There's so many bills that affect us. I mean, not even just wildlife bills, right? It's the land bills and it's the well, it's like the landowner bill. They're trying to do a landowner tag in Arizona, right? We don't have enough deer to do a landowner tag, and even if Game and Fish came in and said, "All right, you get 10 tags for your land," they're non-transferable, right? How many deer are you allowed to kill in Arizona? 1 per calendar year. So if you have 10 tags in your pocket and they're not transferable,
what good
you
is
only
that?
kill 1. What good is that going to do you? Right? They put the bill that HB 2497 or 2158 for the predatory, and they put wolf on it. What do you think is going to? That's like when what was it, Wyoming, that said, "Oh, you could get a grizzly bear tag with a deer tag automatically." That's a federal thing. Wolves are federal. You think they're going to let us go whack them? Like, I mean, they're not even delisted. So it's useless. Like, some of these bills are useless. The right to hunt. Everybody's all up on this right to hunt, right? Sounds good because everybody reads the title. HB 2497, right to hunt. Let's become a right to hunt state, but nobody's read the language on it. There's lots of unreasonable restrict, right? One little phrase in there that could cause lawsuits challenging the courts deciding what's reasonable. It's little words in there. So when Game and Fish don't come out and say, or if they come out and say, we don't like it, we don't want that. Or Arizona Citizens for Wildlife Conservation, Management Conservation. They can't come out and say yes or no because of the language in it. A lot of these guys I've seen post and say, we need this. Puts all the power in legislature. Now, well, I mean, there's more pros than cons, right? The cons are the lawsuits, the terrorists coming after us saying unreasonable restriction, or there's another one in there that just can bring a lawsuit. They can sue us for it and say, what does this mean? So people don't understand the language is super important, right? Like shall and may.
But yeah,
shall and may can destroy a contract.
When we were getting ready to fight that 127, I mean, just to get trophy hunting taken out, cost CRWM a few $100,000 just to get the wording taken care of.
I think Dan said it cost him $300,000 to fight the title of it.
Yep, to get that trophy.
The title of it.
Yep.
I mean, it's. I wish it was as easy as they say right to hunt. Now, okay, let's say they passed a right to hunt state. If it's my right to hunt, why am I buying a tag? Is it your right to drive? No, it's a privilege to drive. Just like it's a privilege to hunt. We're in that era where there's habitat conflict as far as we're building too many houses. Look at California. California has always been the poster baby for conservation. Let's stop killing. Let's take all this money and what are they at? In the last 30 years, like $3 billion or some outrageous $30 million, and their lion problem is just as bad as it was 30 years ago.
Well,
That's
it's worse.
That's the exact same thing that happened here in Arizona. It's the same thing. Let's let everybody kill them. The terrorists come in and say, "Oh, no. They voted out," and then it sits there for 30 years. Money's gathered. Houses are still being built.
What I think is what people don't realize is when you pass any ballot measure, whether it's for us, against us, whatever, right to hunt, delisting something, anything you do in the state house, from that moment forever, management happens in the state house. You just castrated the Game and Fish Commission when you do that stuff. It just gives them an inroad because they're good at that. They got money, they got door knockers, they can get votes through. We don't want to put more things in their court. We want to fight it, kill everything we can, and just push it back to the professionals. Let the commission do it, and then try to police, and hopefully we keep good commissioners. But as soon as we start doing stuff at the state house, we're I think we're on the road to losing.
Well, let's just say
we don't have the infrastructure to support that fight.
Let's just say HB 2497, the right to hunt, is a perfectly written bill. Let's say it gives the Game and Fish all the rights, right? And the bill already don't change a whole lot. It's just language is weird in it. So, okay, what happens when we turn into Colorado? What happens when 7 of our, we got 5 commissioners? What happens when 3 of them are vegans?
Then we got a right to hunt jackrabbits with a slingshot 2 days at the end of February every year, and we got a right to do that. And that's our right to hunt.
I mean, you have to be.
Yeah.
Most your 40-year-old, real pretty ladies that's never been married and don't have kids are probably something wrong with them because they're not married. So when you get a perfect bill in there, there's always that chance of crazy. Bad commission. That means if your commission can do anything they wanted, that's just as dangerous. You still have to have the balance in check.
Yep.
But there's not enough people involved. There's more terrorists involved in that. I mean, they already know they're going to get sued. We already know if that bill passes or whatever, we get sued.
I don't understand how that's a thing in this country where a judge who has no idea what the hell he's talking about gets to decide things that he's uneducated about. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Cody showing off her muscles.
Oh, what the hell? She's not at my house.
What happens when you give people badges?
and free workout rooms.
Oh yeah, that's all she does.
That's not true. I have fun with my friends.
Works out, drinks, sleeps, goes to work.
Oh, and writes tickets.
Oh yeah.
I don't write tickets actually.
She's not a ticket writer. She's more of a chase them downer kind of person.
Oh, headlock girl.
If you got a ticket, you deserved it.
If you got a ticket, you deserved it.
So
she said.
If I run through Sholo and flip her the bird, will she chase me down and get me in a headlock?
Hey, listen, if you want to get out of a ticket, tell them you're a sovereign citizen. And
no, I just want to know. I want to know what it will take to get Cody Lynn to put me in a headlock.
Probably just ask her. Just say, hey, I think I'm going to run. I'm a sovereign citizen.
I'm 2 for 2 on my foot pursuits.
She is. She's 2 for 2 on foot pursuits.
Oh, I'm not going to outrun her. I just want to get a headlock.
Watch what you say. You might get tased.
Yeah, she has elbows. She don't need to tase. The politics is a slippery slope. And I listened. I was on a meeting last night to guys who fly to DC. He's going, he's leaving tomorrow and going to DC. I'm just like, and these guys, I'm nobody. I'm just a redneck sitting there tapping on ChatGPT trying to figure out what this bill could do. And, if it wasn't for ChatGPT, I wouldn't know nothing. But how many of these bills do you guys even know about? I don't know about them. I don't know how to get it to send to my phone. You know, like Virginia, I didn't know it was all about houndsman permit. So
That's a tough thing. That's where a national organization would do us good if we had chapters all over that could report back to the hub. Hey, this just hit, because it's easy to keep your ear to the ground in your house. Tough to. We don't have people on payroll that's their whole job. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
oh yeah, I do it when I get a spare chance. You know what I mean? I give up some hunting, but those guys, I mean, I just sit there and listen to them talk, and they're going. And I'm like, holy moly! There's just so much stuff that you do not even want. It just gives you a headache. That's why you pay somebody to do it. That's why you pay somebody to do it. But you don't get money from the houndsman. You don't get money from the terrorist. You have to get money from Sally Joe, who's a stay-at-home mom that's at Walmart, that you handed her a card and said, we save more lions, and you have to prove that other side wrong, and that's a tough thing to do.
That comment that you've got up there, he's right, and then his comment that he put down lower. The difference for New Mexico, though, is that, and it may not be different than anywhere else, but New Mexico, every single commissioner is appointed by the governor. And so there have been some inroads, like you said, that, what's to say, they got to have the law mandate specific positions to ensure diverse representation. But at the same time, our micro tyrant right now isn't too worried about the wildlife. She's worried about our guns and our freedoms and everything else. Wildlife is second or third or fifth or 20th. But there was, what the hell was that jackass's name? Bill Richardson. In order to accept a position for his appointment for a game commission, you had to sign your letter of resignation before he put you in this position. So if you did anything that Bill Richardson didn't like, he accepted your resignation. So all of these things look good to the public on the surface. But like we talked about everything before, there's so many things that take place behind closed doors, behind the scenes, that we're not aware of. I just happen to know that because I knew 3 of the commissioners under Bill Richardson. So,
and it's just like Colorado, where any state where they're appointed like that, if you get a bad guy at the top, those guys can't even talk. They can't even speak in private. They're not allowed to have their own opinions.
Well, it's like the New Mexico State Police. There's a lot of state police officers that are good guys, top-notch guys, but they answer to the state chief, and he answers and is specifically appointed by the sitting governor. So how does this shit roll downhill without getting all over everybody?
Yep.
I'll probably get shit for this, but Hobbs has actually been helpful in a lot of little situations for us. So she's playing both sides, of course. She's a smart politician, right? She's not just doing Democrat stuff. She's mixing in a little bit of that sugar in the Kool-Aid to make it sweeter for her. So I heard that too. That's all positioning, right? It's a game of chess. That's all it is. And the antis do nothing. They get paid to do this, period. They get paid to do it. If someone came to you and said, here's $100,000 to destroy the anti-hunters, you'd be all over it. Every day. You'd go to bed thinking, what am I going to do tomorrow? You'd wake up thinking, what am I going to do today? And what did I not do tomorrow or yesterday?
If we could get a funding apparatus like what they've got, we wouldn't even have to be as successful as them. If we could get something fractionally as successful as their funding apparatus, they would be destroyed. because they run on complete BS and they don't have the drive like we do. You pay a guy like one of us to go after them bastards, and that's your whole job is to win. Like we're built different, you know what I mean? If we had that kind of funding apparatus, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be so safe. We'd have them buried.
Well, we'd give them a good fight. We definitely give them a good fight because right now they have a little bit more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, what are we always playing? We're not playing offense. That's my goal this year's offense. Yeah. I got people down there. I got people snitching for me on the CBD. They'll know soon enough. How do I know what they're doing? You know, just like they send all these people in to watch us. But no one's played their game, right? No one's put in 5 petitions a year. I got 3 lined up right now. You know, no one's done that. Why aren't we putting in 10 petitions a year instead of waiting to fight a petition?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to file 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 petitions a year in 7 or 8 or 10 states every damn year for the rest of forever, to where they're defending us, because they can't spend millions to kill us if they're spending millions to, oh, no, don't do that, you know.
Yeah, we just wait for him to say, we wait for our neighbor to cut our fence before we punch him in the face, you know. Yeah. And I think.
Well, you get arrested if you punch him in the face without any reason.
Well, you don't have no witnesses. And to start a national houndsman association, I think it would be better to have a division somewhere with somebody. Like, let's just use Sportsman's Alliance. If every one of us, and this is where it gets hard, right? Because I'm AWDA. I like having my own money, right? So I can go buy some prizes. We could have a rendezvous. Like, I don't want to have to ask somebody for that. But we can also do trade overs with memberships. So when you join the AWDA, it's $75, $25, $50 goes to the organization, $25 goes to, we'll say, Sportsman's Alliance, and now you're a member of them. So now my 117 members is their 117 members, and we're a division of them. But it's hard to get people to work together because most of the time people are in it for themselves. That's what's happening.
My worry with being a division of Sportsman's Alliance or any other organization is that then we're just in the same boat we were in before. We're a tiny little minority, and all their attention and their focus and their funding is going to go to the majority. Whereas if we're a national dog working dog group, whatever, then we have a seat at the table. So at the very least, they hear our voice every time. If we don't have a seat at the table,
dog people to do that.
Yeah.
I just think it's like trying to drive a high gear truck uphill before you hit the top. It's going to be slow going. You know, once you hit the top, you're going to fly down. But and I don't feel I'm smart enough. Like I said, I was just telling Dustin and Jared today, I'm chapped PhD, chapped GBT PhD. You know,
and like what Ryan Bailey says there, I agree. Because you get your hunting dogs, you get your hounds, you know, your big game hunters, your small game hunters, all the hunters, plus you got canine handlers, people that go to dog shows will be in that, because that's a working dog. That's a different deal. They get screwed in some of these animal welfare bills too. We'll get everything from, you know, Jim Bob down in freaking Blue Ridge, freaking Virginia, all the way up to, you know, the lady in the curls and the black jacket going to the dog show and everything in between. If we get that's a force to be reckoned with right there.
You're
You know what I
right,
mean?
Derek, but the problem with that is like you started out saying, we can't divide each other, but in the dog environment, the working dog world, the sporting dog world, hound hunters are barbaric.
And that's our fault,
Well,
partially.
you know
No,
what,
well,
and that's
no, no,
why.
no. That's just the nature of the beast. We don't have this pretty little bird dog that's out there pointing at the bird. And it's just a completely. Your field trials are different for birds versus coons or bears or anything else. It's just it's a different mentality. Even within the dog world, you still have classes of people, whether we want them or not. That's the nature of people.
But we got to break those down. That's what I'm saying. We got to bridge those gaps. We can't sit here and be like, oh, yeah, those guys are gay. We don't like them. We don't want those kind of dogs over here.
Hey,
You
hey,
know,
just because I brought the coyote guy on, don't talk shit about him.
hey, I'm here for that. That's cool, man.
I know.
Yeah.
And then we drag him into crappy. But I honestly, I would imagine his sport, his way to hunt, looks worse than our way to hunt.
Well, it all goes back to what we said earlier. With what messed a bunch of it up was was the GPS deal. Because now people look at it and say, "Hey, if you got one of them GPS, you can make your dog do whatever you want it to do." Well, that ain't the case in every. I mean, in the whole hunting deal, everybody thinks, well, and I've seen it on some other deals as people's brought it up, and they're poking all everybody that's a working dog person that, hey, you got a GPS, so you can make that dog know what a fence is. Well, they don't. And it don't matter if you hunt rabbits or whatever you do. Not everybody goes back to the GPS deal. So, but
Are you talking about the comment that said you might as well have silent dogs? You have a GPS.
yeah, yeah.
And
I read that and I kind of
that's
ignored it because I didn't want to. I'm like, well, whatever.
the
Yeah.
the GPS thing is weird because guys will go and see an expo of a canine doing amazing things. He'll ton him and he'll do all this wild shit. People don't understand that a Malinois and a blue tick are not the same thing. There's a whole lot of difference in the intelligence of those two dogs. I love my hounds, but they're like water pumps. They know they do one thing and they just do that one thing. They don't have brain power, not really, not compared to a border collie or a Dutch shepherd or something like that. They can't do math. You know what I mean? That's an
Well,
exception.
all them people think that you teach them dogs to read signs or fences or that once you put that collar around their neck, and that just takes the drive out of everything. I mean, that's like cow dogs. Everybody sees a cow dog deal that they're wide open country, and that's a lot of what them cow dogs do. But we're kind of like where I live. There's some good hunting and there's some bad hunting. And once you send them dogs, them really really good dogs, they're going to go on and pursue what they're supposed to pursue. So, and them counterfeit dogs and that, they're going to come back and they're going to be on the other end of the spectrum. So,
You running sight hounds, are you?
yes, sir.
Them tall, skinny, pointy nosed sons of guns.
Well, I'm not so pointy nose.
Dustin Cooper, 85. What is your on TikTok?
I don't know. I think it's 84. Dustin Cooper 84. I think it's what.
Something like that, dude. I
Yeah.
love watching it. I just love watching them go after them coyotes. And when you're raised in not just even ranching, when you're raised in ranching, them coyotes will not only coyotes and the wolves, the coyotes will pull a calf out of a heifer while they're giving birth. So
Yeah, it's that way I mean the cow dog, just the cow in general, just every species there is to hunt. You gotta keep. Everybody don't understand that you gotta kind of keep it under control, or you'll be like Oklahoma is. we got so many deer that we're overrun with them. And now the wildlife fishing game, this year they upped all the tags and everything. And it just, to make them guys pay more. But it just, our country's flooded with deer hunters. And a deer, I used to like the deer hunt deal, but now I'm off of it because everybody's for racks and this and that. And now deer hunters are, yeah, they're a hunter, but they're turning around like on the dogsman's and saying, well, we don't like this, you know? So, and them guys are
Well,
the ones that are paying the big money
Yep.
to go hunt a 8-point deer. Well, who cares? I see more 20-point deer out of a front seat of a cow wagon than I do sitting in a deer stand. So,
And
but
you
a
know,
lot of that lack of education too, where they think we're messing up their deer hunting. You know,
oh,
we just, and it's just gonna take so much of that handshake. Because hell, I killed my biggest deer I ever killed 2 trees over from where I treed coons 3 hours before that. You know, it don't make no difference. And you know, them deer don't care.
no.
Anybody that's in the West and you guys talk about running deer with dogs makes me cringe because here, you know, we could probably sell you guys some dogs at chase deer, but Jesus probably has a few of them.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them. Got a bunch of them.
I bet he's got a heck of a pack of deer dogs.
Yeah,
it just feels strange to me when people run deer with dogs, and that's just part of my, like, you're a product of the environment, you're a product of your habitat. You know, our culture over here, let's say Arizona, is way different than just even Mexico. I talked to those Mexico guys or New Mexico guys. You know, they can hunt lions all year, correct, Benny? Just not
Yeah,
at night.
right now.
And you get 2 tags, right?
Yeah, right now. But that changes periodically, and it changes with new commissioners. It changes with new governors. It changes with all kinds of stuff. You know, there was a time that we had a season where there was part of the year was closed, except for we had 2 tags, and one of them was in bighorn sheep units. And I was just lucky because for whatever stupid reason, the Guadalupe Mountains were in that bighorn sheep deal. So if I didn't use my tag for the sheep, then I could hunt year round in the Guadalupes. So, but all of that changes. It's constantly, things are constantly under review.
This right here, Washington State just jacked their life. If you go look up Six Ranch podcast, episode, I'll tell you what episode I just listened to today. Well, it's just kill versus harvest, and they talk about a lot of good stuff. And the guy literally said, I'd rather pay $5,000 to go hunt a lion in another state, because they're talking about raising the tag price, than $1,200 to hunt an elk. You know, I think we all complain about the pricing, but his theory was, if there's no value on the animal, then why even have a tag? Correct? Like a coyote. How many times has anybody shot a coyote and said, I'm not walking out there to get that? You know, I'm a little different because I like skinning them out. But
yeah,
I'm not saying I've always done it, but how many times we talked about that earlier, Dustin, you know?
yeah.
Because I said, it's pretty flat over there, because all his videos makes it look flat. And he said, no.
No, it makes it, them videos. It's like I told another guy that earlier on there. I said, it looks good from the back seat of that pickup when them dogs are headed across some stuff. But when that second set of dogs, not everybody understood. There's a fence about, if you watch one of them videos, probably 400 yards. Well, them dogs had to duck that fence, and then it turned into some stuff that we call the breaks, which is mesquites and rough country. Well, that set of dogs didn't have it as pretty as the other set of dogs across that Bermuda grass trap, and it looks good, but it really, a lot of it ain't good. So But
Here's another. That kind of goes back to that question too. It kind of segues in. Is how often everybody trespass. So in Arizona, if it ain't posted, you can go right across it. Do whatever you want.
yeah,
In
yeah.
Colorado,
I've never trespassed in my life. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
in Colorado, it's your job to know where you're at, whether you're trespassing or not.
Yeah,
They don't have to post anything. You can get
Well-
charged with trespassing.
it's like Oklahoma. You're not trespassing unless you proceed to go get them dogs. Like them dogs can
Yeah.
go,
Same here.
and it's where we turn out. It's like I tell everybody, them dogs
right.
have got permission where we turn out, and then if they end up over there on Joe Sam over there, and he says, "Well, I don't like hunting." Well, as long as I don't personally cross the fence and go to that set of dogs, you don't ever trespass. But you got to sit and wait for them dogs to show up. So, but that's where they're getting a bunch of us anymore, politic wise, is that like some of them eastern states, boy, they're hitting them guys pretty hard about them GPSs. They's like, well, them dogs are wearing GPS, so you instead of you going in and getting them dogs, you can stand there at the road and call them back, you know. And but who wants to do that to a good hound or something that's doing his job? He
Doing his job.
he done went 6 miles across something and had all the permission in the world, and then he crosses a little 20-acre guy that thinks he's got 20,000 acres, and them dogs end up on him, and they're like, well, you can't go in there. So, but
Well, it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? They can't just come out and say you can't run your dogs no more because everybody gets mad and they have big uprising. But they can come out and say you can't retrieve your dogs.
yeah,
So what is it? You're not. It's like the reservation here. I've been on the reservation. Not when I was supposed to be, but I've been on there 100 miles an hour getting my dogs and 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
coming off. My dogs, you can train a dog to come back if you really work your dogs. And on one of my videos I just did, we was trailing a lion right on the res line. And I just had to tone him. I didn't have to shock him. I just toned him back and yelled at him. Probably in the video, you only see it a couple times, but you know, the edits.
the button was
Mother
going out.
effers, you better get back over here. You know, but we're blessed over here with public land, a lot of it. So it's hard for me to understand Texas, all them states back east, you know, because we have a lot of public land. We have 1 million acres just in Tano. You know.
Yeah, but look at the stipulation the Tonto National Forest puts on you. Now you got to have that stupid Tonto Pass. It's just
For
another
everywhere?
tax.
I don't.
If
What?
you stop, yeah, I mean, if you stop anywhere and park on the Tonto National Forest, you're supposed to have a day pass, that Tonto Pass. And I don't know what it costs anymore. I've got one in my pickup somewhere. I kept as leftover, but you know, all
that
it is
only
is
certain
just more
areas?
taxes.
No, it's the whole national forest. You're supposed to have it.
Yeah, it's the whole entire Tonto National Forest, which is
Oh.
what, a third of that corner of Arizona.
Oh, it's big. It's all the way from Globe, goes down, yeah, way up to. It's all over. Yeah, it's huge. It's 1 million acres.
And so that's just another tax. And they said, hey, if you want to come play out here on your land, pay us.
And it's for the they spend a lot of money. It's for road upkeeps and all that.
Oh,
Forest
not in.
management.
Yeah,
There is
that's a bunch
no
of-
road upkeeps in Tonto National Forest.
No, that's
You
That's
say
what
that
they
because
label it
you
as.
you gotta go other places. Go to Alaska. That's what no road up. There's literally no road.
No,
You know
I'm
what I mean?
telling
And you
you
don't
right
need
now,
a pass. There's
There's
literally
very-
no road, Chris. Like it's just
very
forest.
few roads. There's very few roads in Tonto, anyways, but they don't maintain them.
But you
They've
say
been
that because you
closing.
live there. There's chingles of them compared to other places. Is what I'm saying though. Like, and it's the
Let me.
passes.
I
Well,
don't.
yeah,
But
there
they
are other
put those
places.
roads in before they started charging.
Those are all mining
Eric,
roads.
They're not
Eric,
maintaining it
I
with
used
what
to
they
live there.
put the fee in place for.
I don't live there now, but I visit there a lot. And I've also been a part of working on for a contractor for the Forest Service, and they're closing roads, a lot of
Yeah.
roads.
Same
So
in Colorado, big time.
they're closing access, and they say that it's for maintenance and all of that. But for the miles of roads that they have and the money that they collect, that's all horseshit. It goes in the slush fund.
Hey, I am not a fan of the forestry. I think it's a huge waste of money.
Yeah.
I don't think they appropriate their money very well. I mean, how many rangers have you seen out in the forest? I seen
Not
2
many.
in 25 years. Right?
But it's one of those things. It's like if we got to pay a little fee to use all this, like I'm willing to pay it. Just like tags, I ruffled a bunch of feathers 6-8 months ago. I don't care if they jump tags up. I'll pay it. That's what it's worth it to me.
Right.
You
But
know,
that's because
I'm willing
of
to
your.
pay it if they're using the funds appropriately.
Exactly
But
right.
see, this is a generational deal. I was alive and enjoyed it when there was no fees. So to
Right.
me, all of this stealing everything, blocking everything, and charging everything, fuck
Yep.
them.
I mean, I agree
That's
with you.
me.
But
Back-
if it's pay the fee or don't do it, I'll pay the fee. You know what I mean?
So I
Yeah,
think paying the fee on a lake, on Apache Lake or Roosevelt's one thing because they go out there and they empty the dumpsters.
The trick is also is Chris. I know you don't have a tonneau pass. I don't have a tonneau pass, and they don't enforce it. They only enforce it in the places like you say. That's where you'll get a tonneau pass ticket. If you don't go to those pay to use places, they're not going to pull over and be like, "Oh, where's your tonneau pass? Where you're going to get those dogs?" You know what I mean?
Well,
We lost the
I do
Oklahoma.
know that I've got a tonneau pass, and I'm in there. I'm in New Mexico.
Well, Benny, you're just more squared away than we are.
Well,
So is
that's
a
because I
tunnel, is a
spent.
tunnel pass like a state land pass? Your hunting
No, it's
license?
No, it's just a pass to use
I
the
know what it
roads
is.
on the
but
national forest.
Where's the loophole?
The loophole
And-
is I was at Bartlett Lake for 8 days with my land yacht and a bunch of friends from New Mexico, and so I had my dash full of tonneau passes, and I forgot to date all of them, and nobody ever checked me, so I still have some tonneau passes.
And there may be a loophole in the tonneau pass rules for hunters, because there is on some places like like on like the state land, the state trust land recreational permit. Hunters don't have to have it, but campers and 4-wheeler riders do. But nobody enforces it, so nobody has the stupid thing anyway. But yeah, there may
Well,
be
I
a
know-
loophole like that.
Here's a little legislative information. Is they're kicking around the whole idea of your side by side weighing only 30 up to 3,500 pounds, to where it becomes a vehicle. Because in the old days, side by sides weighed 800 pounds, right? 1,000 pounds. Now they're way up there. So the laws are always going to change, right?
They're always
It's not going to
manipulating
get
for
better.
more. Yeah, they're manipulating
Well,
for more
look at-
monetary gain.
In Colorado, we have our side by sides, and we get a lot of snow some years, so we have tracks for them. If we want to use the tracks, we have to register it twice, one for the tires and one for the tracks.
Yeah.
On the same machine.
It's a tough deal. It's
And
a
then
tough deal because
They close most of our roads, like in my area, they close them for 7 months for winter, or they said seasonal closure for wintering habitat. Fuck, all of our elk are sitting down on the highway, not even where they close the roads. It's a crock of shit.
So I'm not saying it's right, but ChatGPT says you don't need a pass to be inside. It's just the day use places you need a pass.
That makes sense. That's what I say. There may have been a loophole.
Annual pass, American Beauty. The developed campgrounds charge a fee. If you're doing dispersed camping, no facility, just camping out in the forest off the main sites, you typically do not need a tonneau pass or permit for that alone.
Yeah, that's why we never got tickets. I thought
I know when I went to the lakes when I was building boats that you had to get a pass. It was $6 a day. So you just bought the pass and hung it in your mirror. So, but there's always going to be rules. The U.S. Forces would have a day pass. That's coming to that. It'll come to the day you have to have a sticker on your windshield to be in the forest.
In some places, at state parks, you got to have a horse tag. You have to have a little card on hanging on your horse to ride on the forest and shit.
Well, everybody needs their cut. Game and Fish needs their $300, right, for the guide permit. The forestry needs their, what is it, 3 or 6%? What do they get? 10% of the. You have to buy blocks a day, and then the insurance companies have to have their cut, which is about $1,100 to $1,500 a year. So everybody wants their cut. Everybody has to have their cut. Let's see. That's what I mean with U.S. Forestry breaking our constitutional rights to the people. I mean, it is public land, but that goes back to like the right to hunt state, right? If it's a right to hunt, then why do we need to buy a tag or a permit or be regulated?
We keep talking about the Constitution. Well, let's go back to the Constitution. All of these federal lands are illegal according to the Constitution, but nobody's done anything about that.
Yes, sir. Well, there's some guys tried a few years ago, if y'all remember, up in Oregon. That didn't turn out so well for them. Yep, everything that's not a federal building or like a federal, like the Capitol building or a military base. The rest of them,
office space or military space, and that everything else is supposed to be owned by the county. But when they made the Louisiana Purchase and all of this other shit, the Fed said, hell, we'll just keep it. And they didn't buy it with their money. They bought it with ours.
But on the flip side of that, if they didn't do it, if they didn't bypass that rule, there wouldn't be a Tonto National Forest. There'd be a neighborhood.
You're probably right, too.
You know what I mean? That's why Teddy Roosevelt did what he did.
There wouldn't be a neighborhood everywhere. That's not feasible. But at the same time,
there'd be a lot of neighborhoods. I don't know. Look at Desert Mountain.
If you take,
that's
if
true.
you
But
take
I would rather have.
If you take every inch of,
I'd rather have 100 people, 200 people, 500 people out there, sparsely populated out through the country, than I would have a Forest Service Leo out there acting like he's the damn Gestapo and putting you in prison and all kinds of horse shit. And the federal government tells you can't go. When I was working over out of Springerville and Eager and working for a contractor on the forest, and they wanted me to road heavy equipment back and forth here and there. And I had to really struggle because of who I am. I didn't want to get my friends and my employers in trouble, but man, with one of those big cat loaders that I was running up and down the road, I could have moved a whole bunch of those boulders and let people go up those 2 tracks that they had just closed off. It gets back to one of those. Yeah. And that's how I'm wired. And that's how come I get so wound up about all of this stuff, just because it's like my daughter told me, well, Dad, I never knew those freedoms, so I don't feel like they've been taken. Well, just reading about them tells me that they've been taken, whether I had lived through them or not.
Yep. I heard the Hmong is poaching. Hit us hard already. Lost balance. California is just California, man.
Yeah, your issue is bad government and silly culture,
and it hasn't changed. That's the crazy thing is it started that crap in the 70s, and it just got worse.
Yeah.
That's right. The 60s is when everything went to shit. And I was born in January of 60, so I guess I'm part of the problem.
Ever since Benny was born. Where'd our coyote guy go? His phone died, I bet.
Yeah.
He got sick of listening to our bullshit and dipped
Yeah.
out. He said, "We ain't talking about fast dogs or nothing. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Every single reel I can find with coyotes running down a sight dog running down a coyote and thrashing his ass. I watch it 20 times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Yeah.
So great. He has all them cords
Shit.
in his truck he pulls for the doors.
Needs to get pneumatic drop latches, man. Just get buttons in that bad boy. That's what we had back in the day. That shit was gangster.
So there's our legislature. That's what we're up against. Right to hunt and stay ain't gonna change much. It might slow down some of the process that the game and fish of choices can make if they have to go to the legislature. Other than that, it still puts the authority into the state, into the game and fish. So, not a whole lot.
At
will
least
change there.
At least it'll stop an outright ban, you know. But like I
Yeah.
say, they can
It
if they get
definitely
Limit
mad,
you to a day or 2 hours a year or some shit like that.
But the bad thing is, like, if we get a commission in that'll do that, they can take it another way. All they gotta do is issue one tag or something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's all about the language. You know,
Yeah.
it's all
Well,
about the language.
On the Tano National Forest, when they started removing all the cattle, and this is what, shit, I don't know, 30 years ago, they started cutting all those cattle out of these. First, they started making regulations where you couldn't own so many cattle, more than this many cattle. It didn't matter how much country you had, you couldn't have more than X number of cattle in your name. What the hell does that have to do with it? If you own half of the state, then you should own half of the cattle. But it's like you're talking about. So what they ended up doing was they got sued in federal court, and all the ranchers got together and they started bombarding them. And so they said, okay, it's not a taking. We'll cut your 450 head permit down to 40 head. But you have to utilize your private property as part of that 40 head. You still have to maintain all of the fences. You still
Yeah.
have to maintain all of the waters. You still have to have your rotational grazing in place. And so a death by 1,000 cuts and one just got your artery, because nobody makes a living with 40 cows, and not when you got to work your ass off on 100 sections.
You know,
And that I
Okay,
saw that personally from friends and country that I ran on the Tonto.
That's a tough deal. Like the grazing on federal, that's a hard thing to defend, and we got to have it. I mean, without that, there wouldn't be any cattle to speak of. But
There'd
I've seen
be
a
no
lot of
wildlife, Derek.
what's
There
that?
would be
If
zero.
there was no grazing, there'd be zero wildlife.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I don't buy that. I mean, there's zero grazing in the Monongahela, and it's got shingles of wildlife.
But what about the water?
Well, I mean, they could take funding from somewhere to put in waters. They put waters in places that don't have cows.
But the ranchers developed every bit of the water, period.
Where they
And
have an allotment, yes, but where there's no cattle, the game and fish puts in waters.
there
Like that. I
used to
mean, I
be
would.
cattle. There was cattle everywhere. In fact, it was Teddy Roosevelt that said the only thing suitable for the West is cattle grazing.
well, that's
And so
why.
that's why the rancher owns that grazing right, because he owns the surface, the grass, and he owns all of the water that he has, but there's some of those loopholes you're talking about. If they didn't file on the water rights for what they developed, then the federal government's come back in later and said, well, that you never filed on that, so there's a loophole, it's ours.
Yeah.
But without the rancher in 30s and the 40s and the 50s, there would be no wildlife to speak of, at least in the desert Southwest.
No, I agree with that. I just mean like now it's a tough thing to defend to the majority who are not ranching affiliated. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing to get people on board with, because it seems to the outsider, it seems like, oh, you're making money on making it harder for us to enjoy the land that we all own. I've just seen a lot of that. It's a tough deal.
No, but that's also been done through the media too. I mean, look, for crying out loud, look at these retarded feral horses that escaped off the reservations. And now they have federal protection, and they do more damage to these riparian areas than any cow ever did. But
I did see
gotta
that the
worship
removal
them sons
pass
of
stuff.
bitches. Oh, they're
25%
supposed to remove
a year
part
for the
of it.
next 5 years.
And that's not going to ever, and there's going to be lawsuits filed, and it's going to be all slowed down.
Oh,
But
it's
you don't
already
even have to
been
worry.
done.
Yeah, but just go up there on the Rodeo Chetasky fire. I was on that fire from the from the second day that it was burning, when it was just the rodeo fire. I was part of a dozer crew. And so I saw the whole deal, and I was there when I was in Sholo the day they evacuated Sholo. Our camp was on, I was sleeping on the back of a lowboy in the high school parking lot, for crying out loud. But then after the fact, after everything got mopped up, I was there, me and another guy. We were the only guys working in all of those roads from the highway back to the reservation, from Heber all the way back to the east. We were in there for, I don't know, 2 months. And there were two small bands of horses that were coming across there in the fences. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to catch those horses? Wouldn't it be cool to do something? Which probably today we should have shot those sons of bitches, because that's what got 4,000 head up there around Forest Lakes and Heber and Overgarden. And everybody's got you can't, if you run one over with your car, it's your fault. And that's how crazy this whole deal's gotten. And they're wild horses, my ass. They're just
And
like
even
if
if they
you get
are, even if they're wild, why is that the only wild animal we don't manage?
See, because the public thinks they're beautiful.
That's
That's
stupid.
all it is. That's all it
A
is.
guy
You should
in a
read.
helicopter
They read
take care of that
last.
shit.
They talked about those last night, and you should read. You should have heard the emails they had from those horse lovers about moving that stuff. And I didn't realize that the guy they talked to is my neighbor from forestry. I just realized that because they said his name. I'm like, yeah, that's my neighbor. Building the house right here. But I mean, it's like, you effing C word. I hope you die. I mean, it's those horse people are sending emails to Game and Fish and Forestry just like that. Crazy.
Oh, I got on one of those deals on Facebook. You might have seen it. One of those deals on the Salt River deal. I just antagonized the shit out of them because I was having fun, and I was in a bad mood, and I thought, well, hell, I'll just uncork on these retards. And so I just gave them hell.
I think the government really likes their helicopter snipers. I'm just saying, 2 helicopters, a couple of 240s, we could take care of them horses.
No, because
Lickety.
people have those horses named. There's people at Forest Lakes. And those people are pissed. There's one woman at Forest Lakes that has, I don't know, 100 cameras out there. And she knows when this mare got bred by which stallion, and she knows this foal is because of this, and she's got them all named, and she's the craziest damned old bat you'll ever run onto. And when one of those horses turns up with a colt, she wants to know who in the hell infected it.
Yeah.
We should be
Ryan
fighting
Bailey's
against
looking
that
at
so hard.
Ryan Bailey's looking at a house at Forest Lakes. I hope you don't run into that crazy bitch.
Oh, he
Really,
will.
really, we should be fighting against that stuff as hard as we fight anything, because those people are the people that, those are your well-placed pine cone people from California. That's what that turns into.
Well, it's
Yeah,
worse
the
than that because
anthropomorphizing of animals.
you got to admit, horses are pretty when they're out running free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
but
I'm all
when
for
you go
that.
through 3C and you count 250 horses and don't see but 6 deer and there's no grays, there's too many.
Well, so now the eco-terrorists that hate the ranchers are now cutting fences, which they're letting the cattle come and go, and then they're getting in trouble with the Forest Service and their allotments, and they're not maintaining their fences. But the horse people are cutting those fences so the horses can get beyond their slicked off dirt pile that they've overgrazed and let them go on to the other country. And so it's just until they bring back enough wolves and grizzly bears and there's nothing left for them to eat but those precious horses, that's just the way it's going to be.
Wait till them wolves start tearing them colts right out of them while they're being born. Get that on your camera.
In breeding at its finest. I hope he's not talking about me. Come on, Casey, lit up a little.
Buckchop trigger, trash can. Yeah, so I know there was a Navajo up there that tried to say that they were wild horses and they were horsemen, and they got like $500,000 from the.
Did you see that?
What?
I seen it.
Robert Chase. Robert just got a big fat kiss, and it's like when you got
I didn't see it.
chewing,
I was reading.
when you got caught chewing gum in class, you were supposed to have enough for everybody. What the hell, Richard?
Benny's upset.
Robert.
He's upset.
Got
He didn't
all
get a
flushed.
kiss.
Oh, there you go, Benny. He froze. Look at
Yeah,
that.
Is he frozen?
He froze.
Oh no.
That had attitude. Thanks a lot, Shelby.
Someone already posted if they say they want grizzlies, they already have grizzlies.
Yeah.
Man, that's
You know,
crazy.
California is blowing up, and they're trying to put more animals in and wondering why the conflict is so great over there.
Isn't it wild that now they've got a certain subspecies in certain locations of a mountain lion that they're going to put on the endangered species list? You can't
They're-
get any more protected than the lions already are in California. They don't need that. And they're not endangered because, for crying out loud, they're eating people's pets, and they're arguing with people through the Arcadia door on their back patio.
Hell, they're even attacking people.
I mean,
I think they're getting the listing on there because they're scared they're going to get their hunting back. Like they see the writing on the wall. California's going to win it back. But if they
They're
get
not
this
gonna get it.
listing,
They're too
they give
psycho.
them this.
I've always said they'll bring it back. I've been
Yeah,
saying
they're going to
that
bring
for
it
years.
back. But now they got this listing. They can use that as a stepping stone to stop the lion hunt, at least in the southern half of the state. They can be like, well, what if one of these
Well,
endangered
it's all
ones,
the way-
they travel this area? You know what I mean?
It's not even just in the southern. It's right around. It's around San Francisco, and that's far from the south.
Well, that's
That's
Well,
right
there's
there
no-
on the edge of the Sierra
middle.
Nevada.
Well, they on that
So
Six
that-
Ranch podcast, they talk about coexisting or cohabitating, and coexisting is one thing, cohabitating is another. You know,
Yep.
when you cohabitate, the lion ain't afraid of humans, and humans ain't afraid of lions. We can't cohabitate with them because then they come into our yard. They
We're
do
not the way
drag
they
that
are here.
3-year-old
We're
off.
not. Yeah, it's not Patagonia back down there where they can actually do that.
Yeah,
There's too many people in California for that.
Yeah.
Unless they all
It's,
want to
you
give
know-
up their houses and just commit mass suicide, that'd be fine too. But
well, that's
There's
the
different
first
people
thing I tell
everywhere
these
in this
people.
country.
That's the first thing I tell these people. I said, then give up your home, tear it down, plant some trees, put a cave there
Move
for them.
downtown. Yeah.
You know,
Everybody wants their 40 acres or whatever, but there ain't enough. They're just you can't stay like you get these guys that got these big ranches in Montana or whatever, and those guys are funding the anti-hunting stuff. Like, what are you doing, man? You got your piece, so fuck everybody else. That's what I'm saying. Like that's
Well-
selfishness.
Did that happen in New Mexico, Benny, with Turner? Aren't they wolf lovers?
Yeah, that's where all of the wolves in New Mexico got raised.
Ted Turner's place, right?
On the ladder, yeah, on the ladder ranch at Ted
Ladder
Turner's.
Ranch.
I think in the next coming years, there's going to be a whole lot of people realizing why our ancestors wiped out the grizzly and the wolf. You can live with the lion, you can live with the black bear, you can live with the coyote even. You can't live with wolves and brown bears.
Well, Derek, in the history of this whole deal, they had the exact same hunt and the exact same desired outcome, the bounty system for the lion and the coyote, but they could never get it done. And now with everybody and their brother having a dog under every bush and going out there, and especially when it snows back in the day, they didn't have the volume of hunters that they've got today. But
Yeah.
you could take care of the wolf and you could take care of the grizzly. They never could get rid of the lion, and there's damn sure far from ever getting rid of any coyotes.
Nah.
And right here, I own 320 acres. And in oh hell, I don't guess. Maybe it was in a 14-month span on a half a section, 1 mile by a half mile. Between my wife, me, and the government trapper, we killed 19 coyotes on my property.
Yeah.
And
In
that's
New
nothing.
Mexico.
That's nothing.
That's
But I didn't get rid of the coyotes.
oh no.
I had
Mhm.
to get a Great Pyrenees as a pup and put up with his shit trying to make him a dog and to keep the coyotes be back from my house.
In
You know?
one county in Indiana back in the day, a group of us killed over 600 of them. And the biologist said if we doubled that, we might maintain the population.
Yeah,
And we just dogged them hard as we could dog them and just killed everything. And there's just no way.
in my county, one guy on his private property in one season killed 236 coyotes from one spot.
Over there in California, they asked that lead. There's a lady. I don't remember her name. It starts with B. Anyway, she's one of the head of the eco-terrorist organization. And they said, you guys said, hey, we only got 15,000 bears. We got to quit hunting them. Okay. Then the 5-year study came out and saying we have 50 or 60 to 80,000. She goes, so if I'm sitting here telling you we have 50,000 bears, if I tell you that, would you consider hunting? She said, I'll never consider hunting, no matter what.
And
There
you
is
can't
no
argue with that. Yeah, you can't argue with that
there is no
mentality.
working with those people.
That's
No.
exactly right, because that's their mindset and you're not going to change it. And
Yep.
so when you took that reporter with you and he got to, you may not have changed his mind, Chris, but you at least helped him see a different side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And I don't think there'd be any lions if it wasn't for the dry. Because I mean, there used to be lions in every state, and they caught them all
Well,
200 years ago.
they're coming back
east.
though. They're
Yep,
coming
they
back.
are.
Oh,
I
the
saw
population.
I saw a trail cam picture from Mingo County, West Virginia, a few months ago. Now I don't have a fact. I don't know for a fact that it was not bullshit. It could have been something from down south, but somewhere in the deciduous strip there was a trail cam picture taken of a lion with a kitten. So it could have come up from Florida and been in South Carolina or something. Who knows? But they're spreading out, man.
Florida, at least half of those Florida lions came from Texas.
They brought in some, yeah.
I thought they brought in quite a few.
They
Well,
brought
they
in
had to
a
because
lot.
they were all inbred down there.
Yeah, they brought in
and-
like 12 Tom's DNA or something like that. I forget what he said when we were talking to him, but
And they're still
Cody
looking
would know
for
the
ovaries.
answer to that.
They're still
Yeah,
looking for
yeah.
ovaries.
They need ovaries bad.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get up at 4 in the morning. 3, I got to get up early, load my car, and head to the Capitol and feed them representatives some tamales and change all
Hey,
their
Derek.
minds.
Derek's on paid administrative leave. He can go with you.
Oh shit, he is. I
I'm
forgot
not on
Derek was
paid
back.
leave. I'm on leave though. Yeah. What
Well, I'll
time's
be
that
at the
start?
Capitol tomorrow.
What time's that start?
They have little meetings. I'll probably get there by 7 or 8 just to set up. But set up times like 9 to 10, and then most everybody goes to lunch from 11 to 1. That's kind of the heavy. I got a banner being made. I'm stopping by. She's a friend of mine. I'm stopping by to pick that up, and she's gonna make some little postcards with QR code and whatever. And then I got a bunch of those koozies left over. We all know that politicians drink. So I'll give those away. I talked to a secretary yesterday. It was Lupe Diaz, secretary. And I said, "Hey, I'll be there Thursday. Come get you some bear tamales." I was there last year and I had some javelina and I didn't like it. I said, "There's only one thing javelina is good for, and that's sausage, chorizo, hard Italian, spicy.
You
That
know,
is it."
it's not common knowledge. Casey might be old enough to know and knew those old guys, but the best thing you can do with a javelina is hang it in a tree and set some traps to catch a lion under it.
Cut it in half, hang it in the tree.
I tell
I
you
got
that's
two.
what
I
that.
got 2 or 3 of
Yeah.
those in 3C right now.
I was in Mexico the other week, and a guy said, "Yeah, so we did that javelina. Yeah, coyotes got to eat too."
Yep.
If you castrated a javelina, would it still be bad? You know, like they do wild pigs, it'd still be just as nasty.
You have to cut that.
Probably.
You have to cut that titty off their back when you shoot them. That big old. I call it a titty, but it's a gland, right?
It's a gland right on the back of their back where their back rolls over. You can watch them when they're running away. They'll raise their hair up right there.
When I was down in New Mexico, we caught one in a culvert pipe. That's the
Good
only time
for
I
you.
ever got to be up close and personal with one.
Did you grab him?
No, I grabbed my dogs out of the culvert pipe, and he came charging right out and then took off.
Oh, you
I
should
tell you
have
what.
grabbed him by a back leg on his way by and picked him up.
Right.
Have y'all got big ones in New Mexico like we got in Arizona?
Dude, we're closer to Texas. Whatever Arizona's got, New Mexico's got better.
Well, Texas
Yeah.
got little bitty javelina. That's why I wondered, because like
They were pretty-
javelina,
that
it ain't
javelina,
nobody's-
that's the only one I've seen up close. But the guy that was with me, he's killed quite a few of them. He said it was about a 60-pound male javelina, which is a good size one, I guess.
That's a lot. Yeah, I've seen when I shot one when I was at the ranch in the Guadalupes. It was I was headed out at daylight to go to the El Paso airport to pick up my brother to come help me work cattle, and my ranch boundary was the Texas state line, and it was a net wire fence because everybody used to run sheep, and this huge boar javelina was right there in Texas, and he was trying to get over on me, and I said, "Hey, I got enough javelina," so I whacked him, and he was a monster. And I thought, well, I'll come back and get him on my way back that morning. He wasn't there, so I guess I just stunned him. He was a pretty good sized javelina.
Jeremiah killed a friggin' big one the other day. He sent me a picture of it, and just tingles of them, man. Casey.
No, Anderson, it's new bear meat, new. And I've already ate a lot of the meat, and I haven't got sick in the last couple hours, so it should be good.
Good deal.
They're just politicians.
And it's right there at the Capitol building, right, Chris? Like
Yeah. Yep, right in the
I
front.
didn't make it last year. Yeah.
Right.
I'll
Yep.
I should be able to get up there. I'll let you know if for some reason I can't. I don't know what time the wife's doctor thing is tomorrow. We got to go to that, but after that we can probably boogie
Well,
over
just
that
drop
way
her off and say, "I'll pick you up later, dear."
Yeah.
I can't. She'll kill me dead. I've been gone for a month, 2 months. she took tomorrow off. We got to hang out, so I'll bring her up there. Shut up.
Was. There you go. Let's give up dogs for your wife.
I'm bringing her with me, man. It's all right.
Listen, if you would just make her, you could say, "Oh crap, things got out of hand. I'm sorry, I'm a little late. I've got some imported tamales for you."
She'll be excited to try one of those now,
Yep.
especially when she finds out it's within the last couple of years, not like 15
Yeah,
years old.
it's 24. It's 24. It's
Yeah.
Linden. Yep. I do have some old stuff still though. So, all right, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go finish packing my car. I got a sneaking. I was just gonna go down there tomorrow and come back up, but I picked up a PI case for Friday and Saturday. So
I
You
got to
down
go
there,
out to
Matt?
the saddle house and get 10 pounds of hamburger out and let it start thawing in the fridge tonight. So I got something to sell tomorrow.
there you go.
Nice.
All right, fellas. We will see you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Have
Yeah.
a good evening.
Have a good one.
All righty, there you go. My allergies barely made it through. I'm gonna go to the Capitol tomorrow. If anybody in Arizona wants to stop by, I'll be there probably. I'll be there by 9 for sure. And then I'm gonna talk to some representatives, see if we can't push some bills our own way. Yeah, you're right. PI case, hurry up and wait. That's exactly what it is. And it's a client of mine that did this to me exact same time last year. And I'm gonna miss my son's birthday again. So, but I'll be at the Capitol. If you need to become a member, you haven't paid your membership, we're gonna do a drawing here in March. And if I'm gonna put you in for last year, and if you sign up again right now for 26, I'll put you another one in. And it's a 300 or a couple callers or a gift certificate. So, till next time, guys, keep your powder dry and stay safe out there.
Well,